Hello and welcome along to TGP2. It's Wednesday night. We've got 3 races for you tonight, all with one-shot qualifying and 25% race distance. Will we see a different pole sitter this week? As Inverness Fan 94, also known as Alistair, took all 3 last week, so can anyone knock him off his high qualifying form here in Silverstone? It's Great Britain, Germany and Hungary for you guys tonight. And we've got 18 car grid, so it's bound to be a lot of overtaking then. As the cars now getting ready now to go out on track for the 1 lap they'll get. It's a high pressure situation and the drivers just putting their final setups on now.
Wet race.
A wet race. I am in a party with some of the drivers.
Full wets. Brilliant.
In a party with some of the drivers, so you'll be able to hear them during the qualifying and races. But full wet then. Is it dry out or wet throughout?
It does dry out towards the end. It'll probably be inters.
Some drivers then might be applying some extra downforce to those setups just to make the car more race pace steady. To wait now for the final teams. There we go. So we're going to follow with Kong Hofner then. His first week last week. This is his second week now. We'll go on board then with the Racing Point driver. See the car washing away from him. Inverness Fan then currently setting the early pace through sector 1. Smoky Day second, Jordan third. A few drivers are jumping up there in the braking zones, a lot more confident than others. Davic's been disqualified, parked in a dangerous location. Explicit team radio, there's no censoring it on TGP. You hear it first hand. Two new drivers as well, just to note this week. We've got Erdy then currently down in 14th in the Haas, and Lee Hofner then, who's Kong Hofner's brother, currently second place. Going's taking pole. I think Alistair's made a mistake then on his qualifying lap. He shot all the way down to 11th. He was right up there, so maybe making errors through Maggots and Beckett's. So not what he wanted. Erdy's retired then, probably invalidated his lap, but is on strict. So the driver's got to be very cautious of track limits. But it is then Lee Hofner on his day. Not before poles and 4 races for Inverness Fan. He's currently down in 9th. Must have made an error on his qualifying lap. Crosses the line now, 1:39.6. So a lot of drivers making errors then, a few slow lap times. But it is Lee Hofner then on his first race, taking pole position. And a 25% race ahead of the drivers. So it's Lee Hofner then from going to 2.5 tenths down. Then Jordan TB Elite Shots, which is Jack. Chris Johnson is 5th. Kong Hofner 6th. Baz is 7th. Red Bull Kim out qualifying Alistair, who's 11 seconds off the pace. And rounding out the top 10 is Marco. So early then on his debut, not setting a lap time. And Erlenang, who showed some promising pace at the start of the season, will start outside the top 10. A lot of drivers then disqualifying from the session, which means they invalidated their lap. And obviously you only get one attempt. It's brutal, but that's the way it goes. Only 10 cars setting lap times. As that is up, the heavens have opened. Typical British weather. It will be full wet ahead of the drivers. This could really spice it up.
Oh, my pad's just died.
Oh, bad timing.
I see Ginger Andy's in the chat. Hello, Ginger Andy, former commentator for TGP. Sadly enough, they couldn't get anyone better, so they stuck with me.
Oh, quick, quick, quick. Oh, God.
The lights then are now coming on. No sound. This is a Codemasters game. Of course, we want a bit of lag.
Ready?
A lot of cars round. I'm trying to have a look at the graphic to see who's been involved. They're all piling down then. Alison's made a fantastic start in a fourth. Kong Hoffner, Jordan and Goings then. So Lee Hoffner, your pole sitter, was round. So Goings now leads this race. 1.2 seconds ahead of Jordan, then Kong Hoffner, and then Inverness Van in fourth. It's Marco in fifth and all over the back of the Alpha.
Oh, what a start.
What a start to this British Grand Prix. Bit of lag at the start of the spectate cam, won't show it in full. But it caught turn 2 onwards.
I can't see a fucking thing.
Visibility then very poor for these drivers. Yellow flag. Dom Smith is dropping down, holds Baza. That's Jack Craig then making some gains, and there goes Dom Smith. He's not going to try something there, not in these conditions. Thinks better off it. And Jack then into 7th. But it's Dalton then from Baza. This is the battle for 7th. Through Maggots and Beggars. These. Oh, I think there's a car off in the front. Chris Johnson losing control of his car. But these conditions, you can see riding on board there with Baza, the visibility is so poor. Got to be careful in these conditions. And here comes now Jack Craig on Chris Johnson. The Alfa Romeo versus the McLaren. Jack Craig trying to go right around the outside. They're still side by side now, down into the left-right chicane. Oh, Chris Johnson shuts the door to make contact. Not the first time these two have made contact at Silverstone. Oh, and he's pushed him off the circuit. Whether that was Chris Johnson just trying to regain control of his car, but I believe Jack's ahead and he's let Chris by. And oh, Dom Smith now very close to the back of that. Yellow flag sector 3, something's gone on in the background. Chris Johnson losing the rear. Jack now, this is mental. 3 cars battling for 1 position. Dom goes wide, Chris goes wide. Jack's now still trying to get ahead of that McLaren, can't quite do it. Jack now, right round the outside of Chris Johnson. Now it's a drag all the way down the Wellington Straight. Still side by side. Chris later on the brakes. Jack does the old switcheroo, as Alistair would like to say. And Chris hasn't covered. Oh, bit of lag there again. Whether that was Chris's internet, I'm not sure. Or whether that was just a spectate cam. But Jack then pressuring Chris Johnson. These conditions very Tetris, going 3.1 now out in front, leading this Grand Prix with Jordan in second. Alistair then being pressured now by Marco. Here comes Marco then, will he opt for the inside? Indeed he does. Alistair goes defensive but can't quite do enough yet. Yellow flag sector 2, Alistair still trying to hold it.
Oh, Smokey's gone.
And has been given a try. Oh, the Alpha! TGP, the most friendly league in the world. Second episode of Jenny Mikhail.
Oh, Dom, I got it.
Chris Johnson on lead shots for 6 and 7.
Oh, Chris loses the rear and Jack easily bypassed. Baza then all the back at Dom. This is mental. 4 people battling for 6.
Still there, Dom, still there.
Good see it.
Horrible camera angle.
Whoa.
Engine versus Death in a 5-second time for speeding in the pit lane. This isn't great.
Light rain, 5 minutes.
So it looks like it will dry up a bit. Not to the point where it slicks, but maybe where the visibility improves and the cars start to get a bit quicker. So you heard Don there on the team radio. It is a brilliant battle for 6th, and it's currently Jack leading it. 5.4 now behind his teammate. Can he close that in?
Oh, hold on.
2 Alphas then had a very good week last week. So far currently running 5th and 6th. I definitely want to be higher than that, especially with Jordan up there, Goings up there. But also then dropping back from Marco, who is absolutely flying in these conditions. He's now under a second on Kong Hofner. But here comes Bazinen on the back of Chris Johnson. Thinks better about the move, but Chris there, the rear, not having any of it through there. Bazinen all over the bat now off Chris Johnson. There's a yellow flag in sector 1, not sure who that's for. Probably find out in a second. Oh, also losing the rear there. That's only going to drop him closer to Jack and that battle.
Oh, I've spun it. Turn 1.
Jack, oh, he's got a 3-second penalty for it as well, losing
Chris
control.
Spun.
Chris is now round. This is incredible. 2 cars losing control. Jack, I don't believe, has wing damage from hitting that brake marker board, but it's definitely cost him a bit of time, and it's given him a 3-second time penalty. Only 4.3 now behind his teammate.
Rebel Kim's caught me up. This isn't going well.
Rebel Kim then all over the bat now with Dom for about 2 milliseconds. But Kong Hofner then on a second week in TGP2, currently running in third. 1 point. Oh no, it's now updated down to 7/10 behind Jordan. Baggett's and Beckett's will be very tricky. But Kong Hofner now. The Alphas will need him to take points off Jordan. Erlenang now on the back of Chris Johnson, who's really struggling through Maggots and Beckett's. His conditions very hard to control the car, a lot of that complaining. Here comes now Erlenang in the slipstream now of Chris Johnson. Going sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:44.7 flat. Very good lap there from Goings, dominating this race at the moment. 6 seconds clear off Jordan. Oh, Chris Johnson's made a mistake. Right around the outside goes Erlenang. That was a very tight squeeze there for that Toro Rosso, but he's made it work. And into P8, and Chris Johnson loses another place. Really struggling in these wet conditions. Any update on the weather?
He's up in around 5 minutes.
So rain to ease up then in about 5 minutes. Will the track dry enough to go on to intermediates?
Rebel Kim's about to get some TV time. Jesus. I can't hold off Kim. He's all over me. He's gone wide. I don't know what's going on.
Struggling for the pace, Dominic, or have you got damage?
Just struggling. I'm no good in the wet.
And then behind there you've got M-Ship, who's normally up there. Really struggling there in 13th.
Oh, that's my second morning.
Lee Hofner then started on pole. Don't know what happened into turn 1 and 2 with him, but he's now up to P14, overtaking Erdy, who's gone off the circuit. So Lee Hofner then up into P14. But Kong Hofner then just can't get close enough to Jordan. Constantly within a second of him, but can't get that. Dennis Dexter is now ahead of Chris Johnson, who's made another mistake, I presume, with the speed he was going, and is now in, well, sorry, down into P10 and almost out of the points. But also then he's got the gap down a bit now to Marco. He'll want to pass the Renault. Alistair then, this will really be the first time he's been in these conditions. Last F1 game he played before the bottom of this one was F1 2013. He's definitely found his feet now. Sorted out his qualifying game, just got to up the racecraft a bit. But this will be the first time really he's driven in full wet conditions.
Jack Craig got damage.
Jack then, Baza then's now catching him. I can't get a good camera angle to look on the Alpha.
Chris is paired for Inters.
Chris is in then for the intermediate compound.
It might be time, you know.
From here, I don't believe he's got damage. Maybe he is just struggling, but now Baz is all over the back of him, which is not what Jack wants at all.
Well, Chris is the guinea pig.
Apparently, wets is still the tyre to be on.
Yeah.
Still a lot of standing water, so you're brave going on the intermediates, but he is struggling. He's falling back through the field. Maybe it is worth the gamble for Chris. He'd only lose 1 point if it was to backfire. But Alistair then really now starting to catch Marco. 1.3 now the gap. He's got it down from 2.3. But when will we see any of the leaders pit going? He's 8.9 out in front. Absolutely flying. Konghofner now, I think this is the closest he has been now to Jordan. So going staying out, so he's not going to box for the Inters. Neither Jordan or Konghofner. Neither will Marco or Alistair. So the front five all staying out. Now Jack Craig tends to do some more strategy calls. And he's staying out in the wets as well. So if he's staying out in the wets,
Must be time to pit then.
must be wets. Or time to pit. Baza then really struggling to slow the car down.
Snake Race is doing alright, you know.
I'll look at Chris Johnson and 5.6 behind Red Bull Kim. It's not really a good... I can't think of the word right now, we'll come back to that later. Konghofner then. Again, 6 tenths behind Jordan. He's definitely getting closer, is the racing point.
Oh, hey, Matt.
And I believe now M. Shep is now on the back of Dom then for the lonely point. Yellow flag in sector 3. Lee Hoffner's out. Not sure what's happened to him. Oh. On board with Erdy just to see if we can see a stricken. He's bent it on the hanger straight. He's lost it coming out of Chapel. That will promote Erdy and Dom. They're getting a massive tank slapper. And here comes M. Shep now. Konghofner now. 2 tenths off Jordan. Racing Point is starting to find some pace now. Obviously the drivers do not need to make a pit stop. Wish I knew that yesterday, but oh well. As Alistair then, within half a second of Marco. And Bernès Van starting now to really catch that Renault. And he's got a lot of battery as well. See, they're 90% battery compared to Marco's 3%. So Alistair, with a lot of battery, got a lot more pace at this moment of the Grand Prix than Marco. Maybe.
No!
Get back into fourth. There's a no from Dom. Oh, and M. Shep's passed.
Oops.
No.
Baza then, still within a second then of Jack. Again, Baza, yeah, gets it slowed down for there. But Alistair now all over the bat now, and Marco, Konghofner and Jordan side by side, and Jordan just holding on for now. At Konghofner, that's the first real attack he's really put on that McLaren. Jordan's gone deep. Can't quite get past yet, can Konghofner, but he's definitely all over the McLaren, pushing it through that corner now.
Awesome.
You can see even behind another car, visibility is poor. I think Jack and Baza are going at it. Here comes Alistair though, at the inside of Marco. And it's into P4, the Alfa Romeo then. Into P4, struggled at the early stages, but I think is now finding his feet in the wet conditions. And is now up into P4. Dom Smith then is making the call to box. Only 2 drivers then on the intermediate compound. That's Chris Johnson and Dom Smith, who's just threw them on. But Marco then all over the back of Alistair's losing the rear through there. You can see the rear just wanted to snap on him. Didn't want to stick. But Alistair now just got to keep a cool head. He can get a podium here. So Chris Johnson then just outside the points. Only lost 1 place pitting for the intermediates. Whether that is the right tyre to go on.
Yeah, it's too wet still. Too fucking wet.
But Konghofner now and Jordan still battling away. Goings 12 seconds up the road. Absolutely dominant from Goings in the British Grand Prix. He's at another fastest lap of 44.5, so he's found 2 tenths on his current fastest lap. Konghofner now and Jordan. He's pushing him around the final corner. Pretty similar on ours, only really a 20% difference. Erlenang, 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Never seen that before. I've seen 3, but not 10.
Must have took the old Silverstone out, I think.
Brakes must have failed on 1 corner. Silverstone short he's taking, but now Konghofner now all over the back of Jordan. He's been trying to get past his McLaren since really lap 1. But now he's really starting to launch attacks. Not long left in this Grand Prix though to get it done. But they've got to watch out now for the Alfa Romeo of Ulster. 2.4 seconds behind. You still got Marco within a second. Obviously no DRS in the wet conditions. Here comes Bazzaro. Does he go late on the brakes? No. Thinks better off it. Rebel Kim has now boxed. And I wonder if he'll put on the intermediates early, also pit and put the inters on as well.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, it's just too wet still. It's too greasy, too wet.
Still too wet then from Don Smith. You can see Alistair really struggling through old turn 1. The rear just not connected. He's got a lot more battery than Marco, so be quite happy with that. Marco currently sitting on 8%. Now, Kong Hoffner now on the back of Jordan again. Yellow flag into sector 1.
Yeah, I spun.
Dominic, I spun. Dom spun then in the Ferrari.
No.
And Jordan, oh, he's completely messed that corner up. And there goes Kong Hoffner into second place. Finally, the Racing Point gets it done. And Jordan now, driver error. And now Kong Hoffner's made a mistake. But Jordan just too far back to capitalise on it. So it's a Racing Point 1-2, but 14.5 seconds. It's separating. But Ulster now is only 2 seconds behind. He could still now get a podium in this race, but he'll have to pick up the pace just a bit more. Jordan then all over the back of Kong Hoffner. Oh, he's locking up. He doesn't want to hit him. I heard wet seem like the fastest tyre for now. And I think Baza is now past Jack, and indeed he is. So Jack not having a great time at the start of this Grand Prix. I don't know if he's got damage or not. But Baza then into P6. Erlen Ang definitely trying to have a go there. So Erlen Ang then, can he get past Jack? Jack squirming all over the place. Chris Johnson has left the session. M-Shep has been given a 3-second time penalty then, but Ulster is now really starting to catch the cars ahead. He's got a lot of battery as well if he wants to use it. Maybe he's saving it for the final couple of laps and launch an attack on them. But Jordan now and Kong Hoffner almost side by side through old turn 1. Jordan gets a good run now, coming into Maggots and Beckett. Don't go side by side through there in the wet, boys. And they both back out of it there. I think that's the slowest I've ever seen a Formula 1 car go into there. Both backing out the move, both being very cautious, but it is allowing Ulster and the Alfa Romeo to catch. He's now within a second, is Ulster. Can he steal a podium here? Here comes Jordan then, into overtake. Kong Hoffner then late on the brakes. He's done what Jordan done a lap ago. Side by side into the chicane. Who's later on the brakes? It was Jordan. Can he get it stopped? No. And Kong Hoffner then will hold on to second place. But all this is now allowing Ulster in. Ulster's now all over the back of them. Marco's dropped back from that a bit, but it is still within range if something happens between these three. Erlen Ang has got past Jack as well.
Oh fuck.
Jordan's been given a 3-second penalty. So Ulster now, he could get second here, but he's on the podium as it stands. But he's just got to keep it cool. Don't let Marco pass. And see if you can get Kong Hoffner, see if you can get a second place. But Jack then not having a great time in the wet conditions. Dominic, how are the inters?
They don't even feel bad. I don't know why we're so slow on them. Like, I'm not spinning, I'm not... In fact, there you go. I think I've just set my quickest middle set of the race. Maybe it's time now. But it's just too late in the race.
Oh, M-Shep's off! M-Shep is off. Turn 1 and 2. So that's a wet runner then going off, but Dom's still too far behind then to try anything. But Alston now all over the back of Jordan. Can he now make the move? Into Maggots and Beckett. Alston's not been overly strong in the practice sessions through here. Jordan onto the grass. He's compromised his whole run. Chris Johnson's rejoined. Here we go then. Right. On board now with Alston. Can he get onto the podium? He's turning up the battery. Mode 3. Side by side. And Ulster then is ahead. And can he get it stopped? Indeed he has. Ulster in to P3 with Jordan having a penalty as well. Very good racing there from Ulster. Right round the outside to get the move. And can he hunt down Kong Hoffner now? He'll have a lap to do it, but he's got a full battery to go for it. Now he's got Marco now all over the back, but Jordan still over the back then of Ulster.
Purple sector 1.
Purple sector 1 then from Dom. And if Dom's setting a purple sector... Oh, Ulster's lost it! Here comes Marco and Ulster's lost the rear. And he's down into 5th. Oh, Marco closes the door on him. Alistair had a podium, it was right there. Now he's going to get past Marco to get it. He's now going to get past Marco to get this podium because Jordan has a 3-second time penalty. And now he's in the slipstream. Here comes Alistair then. Looking for the inside. Marco going defensive. Down into left field they go. Alistair up the inside. He's squeezing the Alpha. And the Renault didn't leave much room. The Renault is still there. Alistair right round the outside again. He's got the battery to do it. He's just leaving it in high though. Maybe he feels that's the best way to go without getting wheel spin. Side by side now into the old turn 1. Oh, they make contact! Alistair and Marco, how have they not spun? That's incredible. And Alistair's back into P4. The fact that not one of them has gone into the wall there is astonishing. But Alistair then into P3. He's lost the rain again. He might not even get the podium. Jordan might get it after all of this. Here comes Marco. He's too busy battling for P4. Jordan might get the podium. Marco with a very light move on the inside. And Alistair, I don't know if he could have avoided that. Marco's round. Baza takes P5. Marco went for a very late move in very slippery conditions. Is Alistair going to be on the podium? Did he get enough? Oh, we're just starting the final lap. I thought we were all up ahead. That's an error by me then. I thought we were on the last lap. But obviously Goings is so far ahead. He's ticked the lap timer over. 18-5 now the gap. Alistair then has got 3 attempts to gain if he wants the podium. And now you can see the battery's turned up. He's really going for it now. He may as well. He doesn't need the battery after this. Can he get on the podium? Goings, I mean, so far ahead of the field, really threw me off there. Erlenang now on to the back of Baza. We've got yellow flag into sector 2. Has M-Ship gone for a spin again?
Right,
M-Ship has retired, so he's binned it somewhere. Also losing the rain again through old turn 1. I don't think he's going to get the podium. He's definitely trying though. He's definitely pushing that Alpha. But it is Goings then. He's dominated this race. 18 seconds clear of second place. And it is Goings then who will win the Silverstone Grand Prix. He goes nice and slow there to celebrate with his pit queue. Kong Hofner then, 3.8 now the gap. George really found some pace. I don't think Alistair is going to get this podium. Kong Hofner then. He managed to get past Jordan, but it wouldn't have mattered in the end through a penalty. And Kong Hofner then will come home in second place. It's a 1-2 for Racing Point. Jordan will come home in third. I don't believe Alistair will get the podium. No, he doesn't. He misses out by 7 attempts. So P4 from him. After a poor qualifying, it's a decent result, but Jordan outscoring him. That's a title rival there. Baza is 5th, Jack coming home in 7th. He had damage on the front right end plate. Don't know if he picked that up later on in the race though, because that wasn't there earlier. Mick Schumacher, also known as now Marco, comes home in 7th. Erlenang is 8th. That will be Dexter in 9th. Dom Smith getting the final point. Chris Johnson disconnecting and getting 11th. Red Bull Kim comes home in 12th. Angel versus Def coming round the final corner, I believe. Indeed he is, for P13. Erdi then on his debut. He also pitted for the Inters, which didn't pay off, so he will be coming home in P14. And Dazek then, not sure what happened to him, but he is down in P15 in the Toro Rosso. Just waiting for him now to come across the line. That then is your British Grand Prix. It's a 1-2 for Racing Point. Fantastic start to the night for Goings and Kong Hofner. Jordan is 3rd, and Alistair, also known as Inverness Fan, is 4th.
And I've got a trophy from that.
Hey.
So you can see the drivers on the podium then. Well, you could until Chris Johnson came online and blocked the whole screen. But there are the drivers then on the podium. Fantastic result in very tricky conditions for Racing Point, and Jordan then getting the podium by 7/10 of a second to Inverness Fan off the Alfa Romeo.
That's not going to Josh, so it takes 26 points.
Earl 9 asking if he can appeal this penalty, Dom Smith. Is that allowed?
I'm sure the stewards could look into that post-race.
Decent stuff. TGP then, one of the most friendly leagues in the world. Excuse Michael Kenny at the start of the race. So that is then the end of the British Grand Prix. The drivers and teams pack up and move on to Germany, which is a very difficult circuit. It's a very bumpy turn one, very easy to corner cut, and even if you touch the curb on this game on the outside, it will invalidate it. So you've just got to be careful. You don't want to invalidate your lap time.
I wonder how many people are going to get corner cut in for this one.
Well, it's a very easy track to get warnings and penalties, especially on strict on an F1 game. It's inconsistent. We'll be just waiting now for the drivers to ready up so we can get the cars out on track for qualifying. $18 drivers then will take to the track for Germany for one-shot qualifying and a 25% race. Looking forward to this one indeed. It's a track where you can overtake. There's a long DRS straight into a very slow hairpin. If you nail the exit, you can also get the move out of there as well. Well, after that British Grand Prix then, Jordan moves on to 141 points. Jack, 133. Josh, which is Goings, I believe, is 130. Chris, 115. And Alistair, 92. Also yet to break the 100 mark this season. But one good race. That was a full wet qualifying session for Germany.
Oh,
They've taken the rain with them from Silverstone.
Dry race.
And it will be a dry race. So do you tune your car for qualifying, hope to get up the field, but then not compromise your race pace, or do you compromise qualifying for race pace? So a dry race then for the German Grand Prix. But very wet qualifying indeed. See just a standing water in the pit lane.
$11 points then. Separate the top three. Pretty tasty.
Indeed it is. Tom Smith, where were the days where you were up there?
Oh, throwback.
For this lap then we'll go with Marco in the Renault. Dazik's already retired from the session. Probably invalidated his lap time then. See the drivers moving up and down in wet conditions. It's just who's more confident. But Marco then currently running 7th. Smokey J is currently on provisional pole. Jack Craig then all the way down in 11th. Not sure if he's invalidated his lap time or not, but really struggling in the wet conditions. See the drivers' names moving up and down as people hit the brakes later and later and later. Erdy then has retired. Oh, Marco's put it in the wall! And the Renault is out of this qualifying session. So that was a good
Right.
driver to pick with. Kong Hoffner's lost the rear end as well. Dom into P6.
Jesus. Dizzy heights.
Getting a nosebleed. Down to P7 as Jack passes him. Ferrari then, very famous for going off at that corner. Dom didn't want to replicate it.
No, you're on board of me. Shit, pressure.
But I do believe it is going to be a return to pole position for Inverness Fan 94, and it is. Inverness Fan 94 returns to pole position. 7/10 clear at the top. What a lap time that was there. Dominating qualifying in Germany. And I can't say it was me because I'm here. Alistair Bain then is on pole position for the German Grand Prix, nailing the final sector. 7.7 clear of Goings in second, who dominated Silverstone. Jack recovered 1.2 off though, but it is third. It's a very good qualifying from Alfa Romeo. Smokey Jays is fourth, Jordan is fifth. Dom Smith will be getting a nosebleed in sixth. Dexter is seventh. Lee Hoffner, the new man, is in eighth. Chris Johnson ninth. M. Shep struggling yet again in wet conditions. 3.9 off the pace. Angel versus Death is 11th. Kong Hoffner then second place last time around, down in 12th. Baza, Rebel Kim, Marco, who crashed out in qualifying, rounding up then the grid. So we believe it will be a dry race, so the drivers can start on whatever tyre they want. Will we see then some mixed strategies from some of the teams? But Alfa Romeo's first and third, very tasty. They've got Goings in there, obviously, who is quick and has put his name in the championship hat. So you've got Jack then, who's currently third on the grid on 133. And then Goings, who's second on 130. They're both behind Jordan, though, he's on 141. But Alistair on pole then, currently on 92 points. Needs to find a bit more race pace and a bit more racecraft to bring on these results. But he's definitely in a very good position here. A few mediums I can see there. But the German Grand Prix, 5 lights. And away we go. It's a good start then from the Alfa Romeos. Jack trying to get alongside Goings. Oh, squeezing Jack to the wide there. The Alfa Romeo getting right up behind the racing point now. Jack trying to get second. Smokey G's ahead of Jordan then, but Alistair leading into turn 2 and 3. Very good start then from the Alphas. Holding position, but Goings then into second. Yellow flag into sector 3 then. You can see there's the medium runners. Mediums for Smokey J's, M-Ship, Baza, Erlang on the hards, but here comes now Smokey J's on Jack. And that's a medium runner into third. That's not what Jack would have wanted at all. He's got to get past that Williams, and fast, especially with it on the medium tyre. But now Goings sizing up a move on Inverness Van. Now these two have come to blows quite a couple of times this season. But Goings then trying to hunt down your race leader. Jack all over the back of Smokey J's, who's run wide there. Obviously the medium tyre, the slower compound than the softs, but they last a little bit longer. Jordan all over the back of them as well, but Jack pretty much pushing Smokey J's through the final corners. Just hasn't got the front end. Smokey J's hasn't got the grip to go around the final corner. Here comes Jack, and Smokey just went defensive, and not all to getting very close. Those two are getting very close. Now here comes Jordan on Jack. This is not what Jack needs. Jack defensive, and Jordan then can't quite make the move, but he tries the switcheroo on Jack then, and now he's got the slipstream. Here comes Jordan all over the back now with Jack. Jack going defensive, trying to skate him into going up the inside. Oh, the banging wheels. Goings is ahead of Alistair, so Goings has found his way past, and Alistair then dropping into second place. So again, not what he would have wanted. Jordan's found a way past Jack, who's down into fifth. The Alpha then very struggling, very much in this Grand Prix in the early stages. M-Ship on Dexter. Later on the brakes is M-Ship, and is up into sixth place then. But Alistair will want to keep the pace on going. He'll want to keep pressuring him. Yet to win in TGP2. He will be hungry for that win, and he definitely wants it. But Goings then, he's not an easy person to overtake. You're going to have some pace to get past him. But Alistair then, on the back now with Goings. Can he find the way past? He says it's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 1:15.1. Goings just looks more confident into turn 1. Jack now on the back of Jordan. M-Ship gets given a 3-second time penalty, so does Dexter. Has Alistair got the straight line speed on Goings. DRS now enabled. DRS opened on the Alfa Romeo. Alistair not turning up his battery, so maybe thinking about it. Maybe trying later on. He makes Goings go defensive. Alistair much later on the brakes. But Alistair then closing up on Goings, but can't quite make the move yet. M-Ship and Dexter now tangling. And M-Ship got pushed off the circuit a bit there. That's Kong Hoffner and Baza going at it. You got a battle for first and second. You got a battle for fourth and fifth. Where do you look at this German Grand Prix? Goings in, makes it an nervous line. Alistair all over the back of that racing point. Looking quick in Germany is Alistair in that Alfa Romeo. He's just got to use his battery a bit more. Not turning it up when he needs to. But he will have DRS yet again. Yellow flag into sector 2. Marco was dropping down, so I'm not sure if it was him or not. Obviously 3 DRS activation zones. Jack's been given a 3-second time penalty, so not good for him. Into the pits then is Kong Hoffner, so it might have been Kong Hoffner collecting somebody. But Alistair turning up the battery, got DRS now. That's a horrible camera angle, we'll go back on board with them then. Goings then starting to pull away. Alistair maybe lacking a bit of pace now. Very late into the hairpin, but Smokey J's the one, the mediums, is in a fantastic position here. Obviously he will be going longer. Dexter and Lee Hoffner going side by side into the hairpin. The Red Bull against the Merc. Dom Smith then passing on Marco, never mind.
The old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo. But Alistair then seems much more confident than Goings in the final sector. Maybe just lacking that bit of straight line speed. I know for sure one thing about Goings, he does love a good car with straight line speed. So maybe Alistair's Alpha is just more tuned in the corners, and you can see it through the middle and final sector. Also getting close. The DRS maybe just neutralising it a bit. You want to be careful, you don't want to get penalties. But Smokey J's then, he's getting DRS as well, I believe. Yellow flag in sector 3, Rebel Kim is out. So he's probably lost it somewhere then. But Lee Hoffman then on the back of Dexter. We've got to go back though to Alistair. Opens DRS yet again. And you've got Smokey J's now in a fantastic position on the slower tyres. Alistair just not turning up the battery. Maybe not trying to get past Goings in the first stint of the Grand Prix, which is a weird one. Maybe he's just going to maybe try the undercut or the overcut. But you see there the top 5 then separated by about 2 to 3 seconds. And Smokey J's on the mediums. He's going to be in a fantastic position at the end. Jack then, who did pick up a 3-second time penalty earlier on in the race, struggling to make inroads on the car ahead, struggling with a bit of understeer as well. Smokey J's then 7 tenths behind Alistair, who's 8 tenths behind Goings, but the Alfa Romeo will claw all back in this final sector. See Alistair then, if he just keeps it within DRS, he'll be alright. Is that someone coming into the pit lane? It was Jack Craig and the Alpha. So Jack Craig, Smokey J's 3-second time penalty. So Jack Craig is in for Alfa Romeo. Struggling on the soft compound tires, so maybe hoping the undercut will help him a bit here. Where will he rejoin? He'll want clean air, and it's a front wing change. Front wing change then for the Alfa Romeo driver. Not what he wanted. Smokey J's up the inside of Alistair. He might be on the slower tyre, but he's got some serious pace, that Williams. Smokey J's into second. And now can he do what Alistair couldn't do and overtake Goings?
Jack Craig in traffic.
Jack Craig then has, I do believe, rejoined in traffic. Trying to find his name, there we go. On the back of Michael Kenny. Jack then aggressively moving over to the right, or the Alpha just bottoming out, either way. Trying to go up the inside of Michael Kenny. Doesn't make it easy for him, Michael Kenny, But Jack Craig then into P12. The next car he'll have to pass is Dom Smith, whether he pits or not. Will any of the front three come in then? Tyler is quite bad on Germany. Goings is in. Alistair's in. So Alistair reacting to Goings then. Not trying to do the overcut or the undercut. Smokey J's then inherits the lead of this Grand Prix and has now got clean air to really show the pace that he's got. He's been absolutely flying in the first 7 laps of this Grand Prix on the slower tyre. Dexter then picking up a 3-second time penalty. Where will Alistair and Goings come out then?
Me, I think.
Also leaving the pit lane. So it's Jordan. There's Dom Smith. So Dom Smith in between Alistair and Jordan. Alistair's lost a bit of time to Goings doing that then. So now he's going to have to push hard. He's going to have to really go for him now, because he's a quick driver. Alistair's got to get the ERS up. He's got to turn the engine up. He's got to get the pace that has been showing in the sweat sessions. He's got to get Goings if he wants to win a race. Dom Smith then thinking better off, I believe, on Alistair. But Goings then has a bit of traffic in early 9. M-Ship then. Let's not come board with him because an F1 game doing a glitch, that's not surprising at all. Dom Smith then on the back of Alistair. Not in the same race, these two, unfortunately. Smokey J is still too early for him to pit. 3/10 slower on that lap was Smokey J's. Dexter's then, M-Ship staying out then. Baza staying out on the medium comment. Early 9 though, he went for the hards. That's surprising. He's going very long in this Grand Prix then. He's got Goings for company. Also 2.3 now behind. Starting to struggle for pace now is Alistair. You see Alistair's Alfa Romeo though, it's just planted through turn 1. It might not be fast, but it's got some pace as Jordan has found his way past Dom Smith. Jack's found his way past Lee Hoffner. Lee Hoffner's been given a 3-second time penalty, so maybe he went off the circuit there. But Erlenang and Goings then. Goings has passed the traffic, and that's something that Alistair will need to do quickly as well. 2.4 the gap to Erlenang. Baza then, who's showed some very good pace in these first 2 races. Yet to box, currently in P3. Obviously will lose that when he does pit. But he's got M-Ship ahead of him, 1.5 seconds. Whether he can catch the Renault. He's all out of shape and the Renault's in the wall. M-Ship got all out of shape there and is in the wall. That will put some debris off to the side, but the marshals should be able to get rid of that. Erlenang going through Dazek, who's AI. Alistair then fades through him as well. So Alistair then he'll need to get past Erlenang nice and quickly. Jordan then. You won't want Jordan to catch him, he's in the title fight as well. Dom staying out, Jack has already pitted, so M-Ship is in after that mistake. Marco's going slowly. Don't believe he's got wing damage, maybe just spun it. M-Ship's in then for a wing change, and he's gone for the hard compound tyre. Obviously he started on the mediums. Maybe too much to get the softs to go that long. Alistair's got to get past Erlenang quick here. Has a look into the hairpin. Can't quite do it. He is on fresher, faster tyre. Oh, the Alpha just didn't want to turn. Whether that was a steering fault there. The Alpha just didn't want to turn into the hairpin. I'll probably hear about it after the race. But Alistair's got to find a way past quickly. He's losing time now to Goings massively. Goings absolutely flying on the medium compound. Smokey J's then starting lap 10. Yet to pit is Smokey J's. And Goings is now 15 seconds behind Smokey. It's not the longest pit lane here, but he will definitely come out behind Goings. Whether he'd come out behind Alistair though is a different story. Alistair then all over the bat now of Erlang yet again. He's got to turn up the ERS. He's got to get past him. He's got to get past Erlang and he's got to do it fast because Jordan's coming. He'll have the DRS now. Alistair not turning up the battery again. Obviously feeling he's got enough straight line speed to get past the Toro Rosso. Later on the brakes is the Alpha. Gets it turned in. And is now ahead of Erlenang. And now it's just a drag race. into the right kink. Oh, Alistair turning in there, making Erlen. I'll get a bit of fright there. Jack and Lee Offner still going side by side. I can't shake him. Fantastic chopper cam with these two. Lee Offner up the inside, locking the front left, and is now ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Jack, they're not having the greatest week so far. Goings now 8 tenths now behind Baza. So your net race leader is about to inherit P2. The Lee Hoffner and Jack now. Alistair 3.3 now behind Goings. He's really going to have to pick up some pace. Lee Hoffner now definitely catching Dom. I don't think Dom will put up too much of a fight. Other than is now passed by Jordan. That's not what Alistair wanted to see. Dom Smith then. Not sure what's going on there. Don't know if that was me or if it was Dominic.
Probably me.
It's very slow there. And now here comes Jack now on Hoffner. Lee Hoffner. Jack not later on the brakes. Dom. Oh! Wonder there was a move on there. The Red Bull shut the door. Goings has found his way past Baza. M-Ship giving a 3-second time penalty. Oh! Jack there having to go straight on to avoid the Red Bull, to avoid damaging another front wing, and Smokey J's is in the pits. So your race leader is in for his first stop and will come out on the softs now. Where will he rejoin? Where's Goings? Coming around the final corner. Smokey J's obviously has the last pit box. Goings coming around turn 1. Smokey J's coming out the pit lane, and he's not that far behind on fresher soft compound tyre. Alistair 3-second time penalty, so he's gone wide too many times then. So your pole sitter down to P3. Many times Alistair's been on pole and he's not managed to get the race win. I don't think he'll get it today.
I've been held in the pits. I haven't even got a teammate. Fucking hell.
But Jack now on Lee Hoffner. Every one of his title rivals is outscoring him now. I think apart from Chris Johnson. Alistair's outscoring him. Jordan's outscoring him. Goings is outscoring him. So he's got to want to try and get ahead of that Red Bull. Alistair now 2.8 seconds. Even if he wins the race though, he might lose it on penalties. But Smokey J's now all over the back of Goings. You can see those fresh softs. He's got so much more battery as well. You just see the grip that Williams has even in the dirty air on that fresher rubber. Will he try something into turn 1? Smokey J's, he knows better than that, thinks better off it. But now side by side with the DRS. Goings on the left hand side, Smokey J's on the right. Up the inside goes the Williams, still very close. And Smokey J's takes the lead off the German Grand Prix. But here comes Goings back at him. Oh, hit the touch. Goings sort of did appear Gasly, just didn't turn enough. Oh, he's done a Rosberg, not turning in, and then he's pushed him off the circuit. Very Nico Rosberg-esque there from Goings. Someone has a penalty, I'm not sure who that is. Oh, they've come to contact, the front two really scrapping now. But Alistair is just struggling for pace. Jordan's now catching him. I believe that was Smokey J's, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
That has now damaged a bit of his front wing, but he is on the fresh rubber. That would be something for him. He might actually get DRS down the next straight because already is a lap down here. Alistair's now 2.4. 1.4 ahead of Jordan, so he's found a bit of pace.
Yes. Is the game broken? What's going on? Plaza, where are you?
P9. Chasing down my team.
So infuriating watching Alistair. He's got 87% errors but still running low down the main straight. So infuriating. Turn it up. Jack then up the inside of Lee Hoffner. Oh, Jack sits on the apex there, but was not expecting that. Don't know if there's damage. But Smokey J's then, even with the damage, is still pulling away from Goings. This is then the closest battle. Oh, I'll say that. There goes Marco up the inside of Kong Hoffner, struggling in this Grand Prix as Kong Hoffner compared to Silverstone. And Marco's into P10. So that's a single point for him. Also now 2.2 off Goings. Made it's just a bit too late though. 79% errors. Get high used, get overtake used. Jack's out!
He shots down.
I think he's binned it at turn 1. We'll go on board with the early 9, see if we can see a stricken alpha. And he has. Jack is out of the German Grand Prix. A title challenger is not going to score. Allison now being caught by Jordan. Allison's got to give it everything now. Use that battery. I'm not sure if Jordan has a penalty or not.
No, I don't.
Jordan then currently sitting on the podium. Allison's got to give it everything. He's got to find the pace. That is a car ahead. I believe that is Goings. 2.1 now the gap to Alistair. Sorry, to Goings. There's
Save your footage, Smokey.
7 behind. Smokey there, 2.5 ahead of Goings. Alistair's got the gap down now to 2 seconds. Jordan is so much more confident into turn 1 than Alistair. See the time he's gained on him. Penultimate lap then off this Grand Prix. And Smokey J's is in pole position to win it. Early 9 sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1:14.5. So he will then be getting the bonus point as it stands. Also then just struggling to get the car slowed down at the hairpin. Jordan really starting to claw his way in now. The two Mercs though, 6th and 7th. Softs versus mediums. Bazago's defensive. Will we see a Spain 2016-esque from these two? I should hope not. Yellow flag then into sector 1. Not quite sure who that's for. Maybe for M-Ship. M-Ship then out of this Grand Prix. And Smokey J's then is starting his final lap of the Grand Prix. Not sure if he's got a penalty. I believe he might. He does. Not sure if Going does either. Jordan must have made an error somewhere because Alistair now is only a 10th away from the podium. Give it everything. You lost the podium in Silverstone, you don't want to lose it in Germany as well. But Goings then is not going to win 2 in a row. Dominated Silverstone, but Smokey J's paced this race on the medium compound tyre and then on the softs with wing damage. Alistair's made an error, he spun it. Smokey J's then wins the German Grand Prix on merit. Goings wins it through a penalty, so it is 2 in a row. Jordan will get 3rd, Lee Hoffner will get 4th, Alistair might not even get 5th at this rate. Alistair crosses the line then, in 4th, he does get 4th then. Right. Well then, Alistair is 4th. And it was a controller fault that I did see into the hairpin, and I did say I'd hear about it after the race. He now wants my controller, so I've got to find my second one. I'll be back as quick as I can. Dom Smith?
With a penalty, I mean, I get the feeling that Smokey Jays could get the win back if he reports the incident for Goings. If Goings did push him off and give damage, and I'm sure the stewards will look into that. But for now, Goings has the win. The perfect night continues for him. Alistair dropping to 4th at the end. I hope Aiden can find another pad so we can continue with the commentary and Alistair's title hopes. Alistair now hitting the 100-point marker. Bazza, dizzy high to 6th place. Don't always see him that high. Bazza trying his best to catch me in the championship. But let's hope that that doesn't happen. There's your podium then. The American flag stands tall at the top again. Smokey and Jordan completing the podium places.
Well, very good race. I've found my second controller. Alistair then a bit emotional that the steering columns let him down. But yet another pole position for the Alfa Romeo, and yet not a race win. He's on to 6 or 7 now pole positions in what only is a year and a half in TGP, sorry, a season and a half in TGP, and yet to convert one into a race win. It's 2/4 for him though, that's not bad, but again, Jordan beating him, Goings beating him, Jack not even scoring. It's now getting nip and tuck to whether the Alphas will genuinely be in this title fight. So it's only 2 bad races, but 2 bad races can really turn it around. Especially when Goings is winning 2 in a row. So there is then your final results from the German Grand Prix, pending any investigation from the stewards.
It's the first time in TGP2 history that no one will get the fastest at that point. Chris Johnson took it on the end, only finished 13th though. Doesn't score a point for that, but it doesn't allow anyone else to score one either.
Well, we've seen rain in the first 2 races this evening. We're moving on now to the final one. Wet race in Silverstone, a wet qualifying in Germany. Will we see a dry session in Hungary? Very hard to overtake here, so qualifying is crucial. Qualifying is very crucial indeed. You don't want to invalidate your lap then as the drivers reading up.
Mixed conditions.
You can see the settings there that the TGP are using.
Separates the top 2 now.
1 point separating first and second, which will be Jordan and Goings, I believe. It is indeed Jordan 156, Going 155, Jack 115. Sorry, Jack 133. Do love a good error from our league host. Chris is 115, and Alistair Bain then finally breaking the 100-point mark in 104, but finds himself a lonely 52 points off the top. But a race win or a podium could see him shoot back into contention. It's going to be pretty hard though to win a world championship when you do not win races, and that's something that the Alfa Romeo driver cannot seem to do at the moment. He'd be absolutely sorted if it was F2. You get 4 points for pole, but you get nothing for pole position in Formula 1 apart from pride and a very good starting position. It is a dry qualifying then for Hungary. We'll get an update on the drivers, whether it will be a wet race or not.
No.
Dry race then. So Hungary very hard to overtake. Qualifying is crucial. Very twisty, narrow.
Broke again.
Middle
Bad
sector.
timing.
Dom's floor has collapsed and the chair's gone through.
Unbelievable.
All those rusks he's been eating.
I don't recommend rusks, everyone. Trying to fix my chair. I've got 5 seconds to do it. I'm not going to get it in time.
Qualifying then
I'm
about to
screwing it
begin for Hungary. No one's ever said that to Dom before.
What I'm going to have to do.
We'll follow then. Where is he? If I can eventually find his name. Jack Craig then for the qualifying lap round Hungary. That's not Jack Craig. That's Jack Craig. So here we go then, a lap of Hungary. With the Alfa Romeo driver of Jack Craig. He's not had the best night so far. Very easy to invalidate your lap times. Tom Smith in a second.
Oh,
Not
bollocks.
anymore. Not anymore.
Shit game.
At the moment, it's an Alpha 1-2. Goings and Jordan, of course, these two. Hammer and Tuck. Chris Johnson in retiring from the session. These two, first and second, very close. Now Jordan is throwing his hat into the mix as well. But I believe he is about to do it again. It's 5 pole positions in 6 races for Alistair. Can he finally convert one of these into a race win? Another pole then, his 5th pole in 6 races for Alistair. Really got qualifying by the scruff of the neck. Just can't get the race sorted. Would very like to see him do that. It's one thing he lacks, and that's a race win. Once you get the first one, they all start to flow in. Just speak to Jack Craig. Used to finish in very lonely positions in the points. Got the first race win, and now he's constantly up there. But Alistair then on pole position yet again. 2 in a row. Took all 3 last week. And with this being a very hard track to pass, it will need to be the overcut or the undercut. Most likely we'll see most of the overtaking, but there is then your grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. 5th pole position for Alistair in 6 races. Pretty impressive. Maybe could have had 6 out of 6 if he never made the error in Silverstone. But 3 tenths clear of Jordan. 16.8. So the pace from the Smet sessions is proving for Alistair. Took pole by 7 tenths in Germany, and it's 3 tenths here in Hungary. As now the final drivers lining up on the grid. The team's doing their final preparations for this Grand Prix. It's narrow, it's twisty, it's got some fast corners, so the car needs to be stable.
The chair's fixed, by the way. Don't worry, everyone.
So the chair is fixed then, so Ferrari managing to fix that issue. Bits of rusk jammed in the screws. Made it come loose. Dom does love a rusk.
Could have got
If
pole
Rusk's
there.
won a sponsor TGP one day, Dom would happily take it.
Please sponsor us.
He bought them and ate the whole box. Threw himself in the bin. But the lights now are coming on. It's an Alfa Romeo McLaren front row. 5 red lights, drop the clutch and let's go racing. It's Alistair from pole position, from Jordan, from Goings, from Jack. Very good start though from Jordan. Will Alistair hold the lead into turn 1? Jack Craig having a look up the inside, but I believe Jordan now on the inside of Alistair. Alistair's trying to hold it. Jack pushes Goings off the circuit. The top 2 side by side heading down the hill. Alistair late on the brakes. Can he get back into first? He wants the race win. He will be aggressive, he said. Pushed off the circuit by the McLaren. He's still there. Oh, they're banging wheels. Jordan into the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Go on, Jordan.
Jordan then taking the lead from Alistair in the Alfa Romeo. You've then got Goings into 3rd. Goings thinking better off the move, and Jack's hit him, I think. Goings is round at the hairpin.
Yes.
Not the hairpin, the chicane. And does Jack have damage? He does. So I do believe then it was Jack to hit him. And this week goes from bad to worse. Alistair's into the lead of the Grand Prix. Jordan has made an error. Alistair re-inherits the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now he's only going to hold it for 18 more laps.
Whoa, Chris!
Drama down in the background. What's going on between these two? But Smokey J's then on the opposite tyre yet again, so doing what he did in Germany. M-Ship miles off the circuit. Here comes Smokey J's. Lee Hoffner's in. And here comes Smokey J's. Does he got the inside? Makes easy work of it and is now into P4. But M-Ship does the old switcheroo. He does have damage though on that Renault. Round Hungary, it's not what you want. He's trying to hold it on the outside. These two getting very close. M-Ship pushing Smokey. Smokey's in the wall. Smokey, the suspension's off.
Oh!
The Williams then, they don't have enough money to repair that, surely. There is a virtual safety car. Well done, Cody's. It's about time. The VSC deployed in TGP for the first time this season, I believe.
Can mediums get to the end?
Mediums will not make it to the end of this race. Hards will. Alistair then giving him a chance to save some battery. Oh, so the VSC then, the race is neutralised. Everyone has to stick to a delta. It's about to go green, so make sure your delta's not in the red or you will receive a... Now back racing at Hungary. Yellow flag in sector 2, so not sure what's going on there then. Someone come into the pit. Starting lap 3, DRS enabled, 1.2 ahead of Jordan. Grand Prix, Jordan 1.2, Jack then into third with a damaged Alpha, so he will definitely be happy with that. Will he change that in the pit stops? Kong Hoffner's got ahead of M-Ship, who still has damage. I don't know if he's got damage on both end plates, can't tell with that. Renault! M-Ship's now taking out Kong Hoffner. He's trying a Ricciardo-esque move, and it's not worked. More debris all over the circuit. Kong Hoffner will be fuming with that one. M-Ship has very little end plates left. Straight on at the top of the hill. Not quite sure what he is doing. Not sure at all what M-Ship is doing. Kong Hoffner then. He's not going to play friendly with M-Ship anymore. Not after that. That Renault's got a pit. Far too much damage. Kong Hoffner losing the rear end. Marco's round. Michael Kenny indeed. Was there contact or was that just very close? A little bit too close there for Michael Kenny's liking.
Oh, no!
He is a Blackburn fan, so that's the closest he will get to anything. Inverness fan setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:20.0, so very good pace then from Alistair in the early stages of this Grand Prix. Every time I see that Alpha, I see Stelvio, and Dom knows what I say when I hear that. I'm not going to say it on the stream, but I know if I can't send it to Dom now, I may as well put it in his head. Jack Craig then into third with a very damaged Alpha. Erlen Eying into fourth. Not sure if he has damage. No, he doesn't. Chris Johnson into fifth. So M-Ship did, I believe, pit. He has, and that promotes Dazik into P11. But Michael Kenny will be getting a nosebleed up in seventh. Let's give him some TV time.
Go on, Michael.
Let's put some pressure on him with the battery. 3%. Michael Kenny then.
Being that high.
Sam Driver he is. Still in the Red Bull, years down the line.
Almost in the top 6.
Some of us have aged better than others, but it's all good. But also then 1.4 yellow flag in sector 2. Not sure what that's for. Erdy then in the Haas overtaken by Dexter. Lee Hoffner's now got past Dazik, who is on the hard compound tyre. But now you've got Erdy all over the back now with Dexter. Not sure if Erdy's on a wheel. Some of his lines are a bit iffy. But it is still Alistair then out in front in this Grand Prix. 1.8 seconds the gap to Jordan on lap 5. Yellow flag into sector 2 and 3. And M-Ship's out. Not sure where. Dom's not passed him yet, so we'll go on board. He has passed him. I'm confused. Doesn't matter then. So the closest battle on track at the moment then is Erdy and Dexter. Oh, Goins has made a pit stop then. I believe he had to from damage. So he's into P12. I didn't miss that. So he has gone onto the hard compound tire and has been on them for 3 laps, but is on the mediums. Right.
Codemasters.
Yeah, I'll say it again. It's an F1 game. What do you expect? We've got this till 2025. How lucky are we? Anyway, Alistair then 2.4 out in front of Jordan. Alistair really got some good pace in Hungary at the moment. Can he finally convert one of those poles into a race win? I'll never hear the end of it if he does. He is only a wall separating us. But Michael Kenny, let's give him some more TV time. He's got Dexter coming up behind him. Rebel Kim into P16 then. Dom Smith passing Dazim, I believe he's AI.
Yep.
But here comes Dexter, he's got the DRS. He's got a lot more battery as well. Here comes Dexter, thinking better off it this time around. Probably the best option there. Michael's gone deep. No one's ever said that to him before. Here comes Dexter then, right round the outside. Oh, how times have changed. Oh, he's pushed him a bit there. Dexter won't be happy with that. They both got damage. Formula 2 is on a Tuesday, boys. Pick up the pace a bit. But Jack Craig then in third, 3.3 then behind Jordan. Jack's just been actually overtaken by an AI. I think that shows how much he is struggling then with that front wing damage. He's got Erlenang behind him on the mediums. But Alistair then 2.5 out in front, and Alistair has called it early. He's into the pits on lap 6. Don't speed into the pit lane. I don't believe he has. So Alistair then will be hoping to come out in some clean air. So he's jumped the gun quite early there as Alistair. Maybe not wanting Jordan to get the undercut on him. We'll stick with him to see where he rejoins. He'll want clean air. Where's Michael Kenny? He'll come out ahead of Michael Kenny. So that's not bad there from Alfa Romeo. Not a bad call. He's got some battery as well to use on his outlap. But he's got a bit of a gap to Kong Hoffner, 3.6. He's on the soft, so he'll be pitting rather shortly as well. But now, this is the time now for Jordan to get a move on if he wants to close that gap, or even jump him. I don't think the overcut will be that powerful, if I'm brutally honest with it. But Alston, the only person in the top 8 to make a pit stop, and is currently your net race leader for now. Mick Schumacher, also known as Marco, now all over the back of Michael Kenny. Interesting lines there from Marco. Dazek has just been passed by Erdy, but again, I do believe he is AI. So now will Jordan react to that? Jordan stays out. Jack staying out then. The top 3 staying out. So maybe Alistair might have done it too early, but he's got a bit of clean air. But this is now where he needs to push. Alistair then. Kong Hoffner has now pitted, so now he's got even cleaner air. 15.2 behind Jordan is Alistair. You're hoping that time only comes down. He's showing strong signs of pace as the Alpha driver through all the practice sessions. Where will Kong Hoffner then rejoin as Marco and Michael Kenny also pit. Both for wing changes, I believe. No, not Marco. Kong Hoffner has come out in 6th position then. But here comes Goings now on the back of Lee Hoffner. Can he get past his brother? So there you go then. 14th place yet to pit. But your top 4, Jordan, Jack, Erlenang and Chris Johnson, all yet to make a pit stop, and the gap has come down, so Alistair will be happy with that. Alfa Romeo then in control of this Grand Prix at the moment. Oh, Lee Hoffner losing the rear. Oh, that could have been very, very bad for the Red Bull. He could have been climbing out of that thing halfway through the Grand Prix. And Jack has now pitted. So Jordan staying out yet again. Erlenang staying out. Chris Johnson staying out. Obviously, he's on the medium compound tyre. So Jack is in. Will he change the front wing? Alistair then has now passed Jack. Jack doesn't change the front wing. So opting then, he obviously feels he's got decent pace. And to be fair, he does have some decent pace. Even with a damaged front wing. 12.7 of the gap to Jordan and Alistair. So Alistair will comfortably come out ahead. But those guys will have much fresher tyres than the Alpha. He's got Dazik ahead of him as AI. I don't believe is actually ghosting. So that might actually get in the way a bit. He is a lap down, so now he will ghost. So Alistair making quick work of Dazik there. So your top three yet to pit then. Jordan going out very long. How are the tyres, Jordan?
I'm going in now.
Jordan then will be boxing this lap. So the McLaren boys calling him in. Which means Chris Johnson will have to stay out, but he was going to stay out anyway. Dazik will probably stay out as well. So your net race leader currently 4th. So Jordan then peeling into the pit lane. Nibble Kim's out the session. Now if there's a VSC now with a safety car, that'll be massive for the McLaren.
Where's Josh gone?
Goings is 7th. Behind his teammate Colin Hoffner. So Jordan in then. Alistair coming down the pit straight now. Alistair passes Jordan. So he's got a bit of time now to gain as Jordan. Alistair's in a very comfortable position now to win this race. He's just now got to take it home. Your net race leader then.
On his brother's pad.
On my controller, thank you very much.
Yeah, Goings pitted on the VSC, so gained a chunk of time. Otherwise, he would have been even further down. He got massive damage. But
so you've got
VSC
Erlenang then, and Chris Johnson yet to box in this Grand Prix. So Alistair, Alistair's out!
Oh my god!
I have just heard massive thumps on my wall. Alistair's out with this Grand Prix.
From an easy lead! He was going to win his first race and he's binned it!
He was going to win his first race and he's put it in the wall!
It was in the bag!
All he had to do was take it home, and he's going to come away with sweet nothing.
Oh, Alistair. Oh, Jean. He's still got the fastest lap though, not all bad.
So Jordan then is now your net race leader. The race turned on its head. I can't believe what I've just seen. Chris Johnson's in then, so I believe is Erlenang. Nope, that's just the McLaren pit crew. Forgot they were blue on this game.
I can hear the tears. I can hear the tears on the stream in Aiden's mic. I can hear the tears. Come to the room.
And Respawn then has now left the session. So Jordan now inherits the lead of this Grand Prix. That was the moment for him. He had a comfortable lead. All he had to do was take it home. And from what I said earlier, I heard a lot of thumps. I hope they were not my controller. So Jordan then is your net race leader.
Oh, Michael points. Both of us. Happy days.
This field then pretty spread out. Chris Johnson in on fresh soft, so he might take the fastest lap off Alistair, who won't even get it anyway, because he's outside the top 10. Top of cam then on Chris, fresh softs and a front wing. It'll only be a matter of time before he passes Jack. I need some juice.
Oh, Alistair. Heartbreak. About to take his first league win and bins it from a comfortable lead. And Jordan, who had a 1-point lead in the championship going into this race, is about to extend that lead with the fastest lap as well.
The fastest lap. God, I love Dominic. Just fills in when I'm taking a drink of my brew. So Erlenang then yet to pit in this Grand Prix, 13.4 seconds ahead of Jordan. But Chris now all over the back of the Alfa Romeo of Jack. Still can't believe what I've just seen. And if he walked away for a cuppa and came back and wondered why else was DNF'd, he binned it. top of the hill. But Chris Johnson in all over the back now off Jack Craig. So yet again, Jack being outscored by a title challenger. Not when he went into the top. You can see Jack all over the place. That Alpha has really no grip from that broken front wing.
Safety car, please. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Jordan does another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As Erlenang then has come in now. So this is now your top three. There goes Chris now. Up the inside later on the brakes. And it is now a McLaren 1-2, which again is an eyesore for the Alfa Romeo boys, especially with only one car scoring, and it not outscoring any of the McLarens. But Alfa Romeo then, it's going to be a long debrief after this race to see what's gone wrong for them today. Jack's been given a 3-second time penalty. That might even drop him off the podium to Erlenang, who's on fresh softs. Can Chris Johnson now maybe set eyes on his teammate? By the time he gets to the tires, might have gone up, but Jordan has got serious pace on those mediums. Not what Alfa Romeo wanted. They had such good pace in the practice sessions, just couldn't take it home. And Erlenang now all over the back now of the Alfa Romeo. Jack all over the grass. Erlenang having to avoid right there with DRS open. Erlenang later on the brakes and is now into the podium position. He would have been there anyway with Jack having a penalty, but it's just going from bad to worse for Alfa Romeo. Not what Alpha wanted at all. Jack's just given up. He's put it in the wall.
What?
Live on stream. Probably should have spectated someone else there. Well, you won't win a world championship if you do stuff like that. Every point matters. And if he loses it now,
an extra 2 points.
If he loses it now by 7 points, he'll look back to Hungary. Jack Craig really is the new Owen. But Erlenang now all over the bat now with Chris Johnson. Erlenang could maybe try and get himself back in. It had such a good start to the season. It sort of washed away though as the season's gone on. The Alfa Romeos have got stronger as the season's gone on, but the results haven't got any better. It's a weird thing to say, that they've actually improved, but not gone anywhere.
I think Chris has been passed for second by Erland.
Erlenang actually has, yes. I was too busy watching that and didn't commentate on it. Erlenang now into second place for Chris Johnson. Again, tired at this point. The mouth's starting to get dry. Well. Trying to Gandhi's flip-flop. Goings then on the back now off Kong Hofner. 1.6 seconds is the gap. Penalties might change the order though come towards the end. Michael Kenny's got a new front wing. I'd hate to see the spend list on front wings at Red Bull this season. The Goings then on those medium compound tires. He has pitted again, I believe, because the game said he was on hards, was it not? The game still says he's on hards, but he's not pitted again, so take what you will. He's either on mediums or hards. It's a Cody's game, they just leave you guessing. That's what you want. So Chris Johnson then dropping back from Erlenang, 6.9 seconds to Erlenang and Jordan. Erlenang's just the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1:19.4.
Could he catch Jordan in time?
He'd need 3 seconds a lap. I do not believe that will happen. Voice is definitely starting to go now. Starting to dry up. Lap 16 of 18 off this Hungarian Grand Prix. Everyone really spread out a bit. Here comes Bazano actually on Erdi. Not had the best debut week, has Erdi. But one of the main talking points for this Grand Prix gotta be Alistair. He's had 6 or 7 poles now, I can't remember the exact number of poles in TGB2 without a race win. This is a circuit that's hard to pass. He took pole at it, had the pace, came out 6-7 seconds ahead of Jordan, had no penalties. All he had to do was take it home as Baza there gets past 30. All he had to do was take it home, lost the rear at the top of the hill.
2 racing points again, very close now. I think Josh might get him into turn 1.
Here we go then, Goings then in the slipstream. Is he just a little bit too far back? Oh, he's very late on the brakes. As he hit the brakes in and flashed between mediums and hards. That's some power there. 2 racing points, sorry, not Force Indias. Side by side Goings. Oh, very close out to Kong Hofner, who's had a very good recoverable drive actually after being molested by a Renault. So he's had a very good comeback drive then. Well, when the press people ask Alistair what happened, he'll just say Ashpan. Goings then, Hofner then mixing it. He has to go across the chicane. Doesn't give him a penalty, but it has extended the gap on Goings a bit there. But absolute heartbreak for Alfa Romeo. They've got faster and faster. Like I said earlier, as the season's gone on, but the results aren't getting any better. It's just little mistakes now that are costing Alfa, and it's what's going to cost them in the constructors and the drivers. You've got Belgium, you've got Monza and Singapore coming up next. That's where they're really now going to have to get the results together for the final push. Here comes Goings, waving left and right, pushes his way past his teammate as he flickers tyres yet again. But he is past, and Goings now into P4, but Kong Hofner now, I do believe Kong Hofner now just hasn't got the grip of the lad there from Goings. But Kong Hofner now, I think, has to settle for 5th as he gets a 3-second time penalty there for running wide. That will be the end of that fight. There's no way he's got the inside there, Kong Hofner. Can he keep it out the wall? Now if Alistair watches that back, he'll be extremely jealous, because he has kept it out the wall. And he's not lost that much time.
Red Bull, side by side.
Lee Hofner out, the brother of Kong Hofner, has got past Michael Kenny, because there's no way Michael Kenny's hunting someone down.
What a race, Jordan. Well done, mate.
But Jordan then, across the line, wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Would you say lucky? I would say so. Erlenang is going to come home in 2nd. Chris Johnson then will get 3rd for McLaren, so extending their points tally on Alfa Romeo. Goings then will get 4th, I believe. Kong Hofner then had the spin but never lost anything. He's going to come home in 5th position. He does indeed. Dexter then will come home in 6th. Dom Smith in a very lonely 7th. Racing absolutely nobody. Dexter then has got a 5-second unserved penalty, but I believe the gap's just too big now for Dom Smith to claw that in to maybe get 6th. His glory days are well behind in Dom Smith. Lee Hofner is 8th. Angel versus Death is 9th. Baza then will be the last car to come across the line, and he will round out your top 10. It's a very dramatic Hungarian Grand Prix. Very good all 3 races really. Full wet conditions, dry conditions, leaders bidding it. maybe just pushing when he didn't have to. Also, he's just too hungry, and I think now for that win. But Baza then comes across the line then to finish the Grand Prix. So it is then Jordan who will extend this championship lead. Fantastic performance from the McLaren. Even when things aren't going their way, they still get a fantastic result. So there is your podium then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. McLaren 1-3. Alfa Romeo will not want to see that. They'll be leaving as quick as they can. And on to the next one then it is for Alfa. They've got to pick up the results.
They will gain points because I'm not here next week.
So then is then your standings for the Hungarian Grand Prix on the final race of the night. It is Jordan then who takes home a victory for McLaren. That puts his championship tally in 181. Goings on second with 167, Jack 133 and Chris 130. And you'd all but say Alistair now has got some mountain to climb now. Well, join us next week on a Tuesday for TGBF2 at the same time, and join us next week on Wednesday for TGP2. It will be Belgium, Monza and Singapore. I'll see you next week.